Welcome to Milk Market Tidbit for the August cold storage report that USDA released Friday afternoon. This is Dr. Lawrence Jones, and I'm recording this on Monday, September the 29th. So the cold storage report is our second report of the month. We had milk production report a week ago Monday, and then of course we're going to get the dairy products report here this following Friday. So let's start with revisions. USDA increased the amount of cheese in cold storage, which also increased the drawdown that was estimated. Now for butter, there were no major changes. What these revisions would kind of suggest is that the demand for cheese was probably a little bit worse in July than we'd thought because we didn't draw down nearly as much, and no big changes from butter. So now we'll look at how it actually came into what was expected, and the actual amount of cheese in cold storage was below the typical and below StoneX. We drew down about 11 million pounds when we thought that we'd only draw down about 1.3. Now, butter in cold storage was a little bit higher than the typical number and a little bit lower than StoneX's. So this would suggest to me that the demand for cheese in August may be slightly better than July, and the demand for butter is probably pretty similar. So let's look at the graphs to kind of look at how this all came together. So cheese stocks came down just a little bit, and they're a little bit below what we expected. And actually the value that we've got is about the 2021 kind of value. So we're not hitting a record on cheese stocks. But the real story is how did those cheese stocks come down? Because the American stocks actually came up just a little bit. And if you look at the value, we're also back in that 2021 number. Now, last month, American cheese represented about 57.1% of the cheese in cold storage. This month, it's 57.7. So, in fact, what happened is we pulled down other stocks and we actually grew American stocks. And so here are the other stocks that came down just a little bit. And again, that's back to the value of about the 2020. What's interesting about butter stocks, if you kind of look at these on a look backwards, we've been pretty flat in butter stocks all the way back to around 2019 or so, 2018. So these came in pretty well as we expected. There's a slight upward trend, but again, they've been pretty static if you ignore these 2 points here. So the cold storage report did finish up the week. Now this next week we're going to get the agricultural prices on Tuesday. And then on Wednesday we're going to have the classic component numbers, which will be the next milk market tidbit, and then followed by the dairy products report on Friday.